Good afternoon, dear colleagues. Before I begin with my keynote speech, I'd like to introduce myself and my fellow members of the panel. This press conference is dedicated to a second season, the second year of our National Prize for Future Technologies, VYZOV. Myself, I'm Dmitry Chernyshenko. I'm deputy head. I'm head of the trustee council. We have with us president of the VYZOV Foundation, Mr. Leonid Shlechover, Mr. Artem Aganov, chair of the scientific community, Mr. Konstantin Bogomolov, head director of the theater on Bronner Street and the Melnikov Theater. He was the director of the first award ceremony and this one. Mr. Dmitry Zowers, deputy head of the board of Gazprom Bank, and Mr. Timonov. And Mr. Andrei Timonov. As I was watching the video, it really gave me shivers. Within just 10 days, we'll be looking at a very challenging task, trying to do even better than we did last year. And that's a bar set rather high, I would say. The first award ceremony was, I would say, a success, and it was very informative and interesting and insightful. And judging by the number of people in this room, I can say that we've come a long way because we had just a handful of people last year, and this precedent probably should be interesting and informative as well, because this is not just an announcement like come in 10 days you will see a fun ceremony. We have a lot to tell you today, and I'd like to begin with our speakers and begin with Mr. Leonid Shlechover, president of the VYZOV Foundation. So tell us what we're in for. Good afternoon. This year, the new things that one new feature is that we are gathering here at the Tretyakov Art Gallery for the first time, and we decided this year to depart from last year's canon and announce our winners today ahead of the event, and we'll do that in just a few minutes. We've analyzed the world's leading science awards, and one of the major ones announces their winners a month ahead of the award ceremony itself. But of course, it is the content that matters more than the format. And there is great demand in the world now for a non-politicized, objective, unprejudiced science award. And I think that this is a task for us today to bring our awards to a new level, up to a new level, and we've launched a new category this year for this year's awards. It is our international category that will be awarded to scientists from any country around the world, regardless of their political views. We've received a total of 594 applications this year. And some of them came from a total of 33 countries, including India, the United States, France, China, Israel, Australia, etc., many other countries. And that is a token of the confidence, the trust that our award enjoys. Awarding scientists is not about mastery, but it's also a form of art. It's an art to find the talent who will become, big scientific celebrities in the years to come. Since we are gathering here at the Tretyakov Art Gallery today, I would like to remind you of this kind of, maybe it's an urban legend, maybe it was true, but the Russian artist Boris Kustodiev, he had this portrait of the two artists, Kapitsa and Semyonov. and those academics, they actually offered to the artist to do their portrait. They commissioned a portrait to him, saying, "We know that you paint portraits of prominent artists. Would you like to do a portrait of future prominent artists?" And Kustodiev asked them, "Do you believe you will get the Nobel Prize?" And they said, "We will." And 30 years later, they did. So if Boris Kustodiev, the artist, lived today, he probably would also ask our winners, our prospective winners, do you aim to become winners of the VYZOV Prize? And, indeed, they are bright, intelligent, ambitious people. You will see for yourselves in just a few minutes. And on December the 19th, we will be celebrating our true scientific celebrities, our true stars, during our award ceremony. And today, we will announce their names, and you will see for yourselves that those are some of the great scientists of today. Thank you so much, Leonid, for this introduction. But indeed, maybe we didn't do much worse either. We have here something that really represents our winners that are about to be announced. I can't see through the veil for now myself. You saw bits of last year's ceremony in the opening video, and the director of the award ceremony, Mr. Konstantin Bogomolov, he really went far beyond the boundaries of the habitual format. When people, there's the audience, there's the stage. People come on stage to get the rewards, and during that award ceremony, we had like four elements or four spheres, and people were coming up on stage in each of them. So that was unusual and exciting. And I'm sure this year's ceremony will even beat that. Will you tell us a little bit about that, Mr. Bogomolov? Well, last year was challenging because we had a very unusual space, an unusual room for the award ceremony, and we had to navigate ourselves inside of it. And I think we did a good job coming up with a concept that really fit in nicely within the manege, the manege pavilion. There was another challenge with regard to filling it up with the content, talking about the scientists that we featured and developments that were aimed towards the future. So we thought we couldn't afford to make our award ceremony archaic, made by washed out habitual formats, because usually when they have an award ceremony, it's something rather formal and regimented. It's hard to make it inciting. It's something that people usually sit through. It's not very exciting for the winners themselves. Well, it is exciting for the winners, but not for many other people, except for those who are waiting for the buffet. And so, as part of preparing for the award ceremony, I visited Skolkovo and met some of the scientists who were working on the nuclear project there, and that was very inspiring, very insightful for me. This year, we have a new venue for our award ceremony, and that is a new challenge for me, because now we have to beat last year's results. We have to do better than last year, and that's the challenge for us this time around. In fact, maybe that really makes sense. Maybe that's what it's all about. Going beyond your previous records, looking for something new, always striving for something better. And we tried to do that this year. We managed to overcome the temptation to repeat some of the tricks and shticks that we used last year, the temptation to build on last year's success, although that was tempting. And same as last year, we've had a bit of debate inside our team with regard to the concept of the new award ceremony, whether that is what's necessary, whether that is suitable, whether that is that will work. And although this is our second time, I can say, as always, as usual, we have these deliberations, and as always, as usual, we will be unorthodox in how we go about it, in the way we do the seating for the audience, in the way we do the stage, in the way we do we organize the process of winners coming on stage. Since we're not going to have a one traditional stage during the award ceremony. We're going to have several stages and none at the same time. It's going to be immersive, same as last year. We're going to have brilliant artists and actors with us, and some exciting content coming ahead of each award. And I would like to thank the award committee for only having 5 categories, because that makes our job easier. When you have 20 categories, that is a bit scary, because you have to make sure that each of the awards is presented in an original way. When you have 4 or 5, you don't have to rush. Those are beautiful, beautiful numbers, 4 or 5, and you can make each award a thing of art in its presentation. So do come over on December the 19th. It's going to be more than an award ceremony. It's going to be a sort of a performance, a theatrical play that will be exciting to watch both live and on our internet feed. I'm sure the picture will be absolutely dazzling. Thank you very much. I'd like to add, we will have the online feed on December the. It'll be televised as well on December the 29th on the Первый channel, Russia's major TV channel. And if anything goes wrong, we will just run last year's footage and tell them this is this year's award ceremony. That's very convenient, saves you lots of money. You could just change the names of the winners, but we're not going to do that anyway. So you said it's going to be a very grandiose, large-scale ceremony, a big performance. And as Leonid said last year, we must be proud with our winners. We must celebrate them. But to celebrate, you need money. And we have with us Mr. Dmitry Zauers, Deputy Chair of the Board of Gazprom Bank, who is a co-founder of the VYZOV Prize for Future Technologies. We talk with Dmitry quite often, and he came up with a rather interesting concept this year that Gazprom Bank has invented a time machine that enables you to travel back in time. First people are born, then they become scientists, then they come up with an invention, then they have to create a startup, then they have to establish production, and the bank has reverse engineered it all. First they bought assets, bought and restored and supported production assets back in the 90s. Then it's supported the Russian Quantum Center. That's when we met with Dmitry. There was a time when nobody actually asked, when we would come up with a quantum computer, and no one actually believed that one would be possible. But when Russia adopted its roadmap for quantum technology research in 2019, our partnership came about, and by the time the Russian Quantum Center already had competences for building their super quantum computer, then Gazprom Bank took another step into the past, backward in time, to find those young scientists who were dreaming of becoming prominent scientists and becoming winners of the VYZOV Prize, and were willing to come up with inventions to promote and advance science in our country. But I'd like to ask you, how did the Gazprom Bank come up with that decision? It's an important decision to invest that much money. Thank you very much. Indeed. Actually, Dmitry has already described for you much of our logic. Just 2 years, we only had an idea. A year ago, we already had our extraordinary award ceremony, and 1 year later, we are living in a different era where everybody realizes the importance of developing new technologies. We continue to be one of the main trustees and co-founder of the VYZOV Prize and the VYZOV Foundation, but at the same time, the foundation and the award, they've been inspiring us, moving us toward new dreams. And now, some people look at the VYZOV Foundation and the VYZOV Prize as just a mere part of the Gazprom Bank ecosystem, but that's not right. It is something much greater. It is a way to promote science. It is a way to show society that scientists are not a separate caste of people. They are part of society. And like as Mr. Bogomolov said, the award ceremony will be an immersive event, and it's important for us to have this, to send this immersive message that science is a part of society, that the country needs science for development, for growth, and the award ceremony is just a cherry on the cake, but the foundation carries out a lot of events that emphasize the meaning of scientists, that popularize the scientific profession, that highlights some of the most promising scientific projects to foster and create scientific teams that facilitate and accumulate research on some important projects in Russia. So it's a very important track both for our bank and for the entire country that enables us to address a lot of the important tasks related with technical sovereignty and technical leadership. It's not a standalone project for our bank. We are certain that for Russia in general and for other stakeholders in this project, this will become part of a big overall idea. This move from knowledge toward technology and toward technological leadership. Thank you very much. Thank you, Dmitry. Gazprom Bank is not the only organization that supports our foundation and our award. Our prize money was established last year by the city government of Moscow. But along with Gazprom Bank and the Rosatom Corporation, we have other organizations participating in sponsoring our award. And you saw in the footage from last year's award, our co-founder from Rosatom Corporation, and also we have with us Mr. Andrei Timonov. Last year, our colleague Ilya Semerikov, who created the quantum computer in Russia as part of the roadmap and the project run by Rosatom. It's been 12 months since then. Has Rosatom sensed that this award, which celebrates Rosatom's scientific achievements, have you felt that actually it helps your own corporation? Thank you very much, and thank you for the invitation. I'd like to start with describing the issue, the problem at hand. Nothing is a coincidence in this life. The fact that we're meeting at an art gallery today, and I'm sitting next to a theatric director rather than chair of the Russian Academy of Science, that tells you something. The very name of our award, VYZOV, translates as challenge, and we have to acknowledge that we are looking at many challenges looking into the future. When you drive around Moscow, you see a lot of ads from developers, from construction companies who usually say building the future. It looks as if developers have taken over this role of moving us toward the future. When you ask them what you mean by that, what is the future, they can't give you an answer. So we're not really moving anywhere if they are the locomotive. Just last year, the Russian central polling office published the results of its survey. Some 25% don't have any dreams. In Russia, 75% have very pragmatic dreams, and 10% have almost no dreams, 75% have very down to the ground, down to earth dreams, and only 15% have far-reaching idealistic dreams. And what's awful, what's horrifying is that society usually looks at those people very skeptically. It's dreaming big is not seen as something positive. Rather, they are seen as people who have their head up in the sky. They're detached from reality. And you often come across pictures of the future generated by artificial intelligence. They show you skyscrapers surrounded by some trees, bright blue sky, with some flying vehicles, spotted by flying vehicles. Does anybody believe that this is really the future that we are heading towards, and not some a different kind of landscape? That's a difficult question. What if we dare to dream? And as I say, within our corporation, you can dream, you may dream. And in the decades to come, I'm telling you, we will become witnesses, we will witness breakthrough inventions and discoveries, the ramifications of which will probably be able to change the very paradigm of existence and the lifestyle for each of us in this room. They're already capable of that. That Rosatom Corporation, for one, has been promoting and supporting new initiatives in energy production. We'll be launching a fourth generation facility, energy generation facility in the Tomsk region in Siberia within just a year. And that technology will supply us with energy resources for 3,000 years to come. We will try and test that technology within the next 10 years, and we expect to launch an MBIR research reactor to be launched that will pioneer these fourth generation energy production solutions. It'll become the hub for that kind of research. So we have a lot of tracks of research that the Rosatom Corporation supports. We already said that we built the quantum computer through the effort of a large research team supported by the Rosatom Corporation. When we talk of a quantum computer, what you really are talking about is a technology that will help you solve a lot of issues in the years to come, starting with the traffic jams in Moscow and all the way up to resolving the issue of famine around the world. Because, we found that agriculture requires big computing power, computing resources that only quantum computing can offer. So that's the kind of application that we're looking at starting from around 2030, which is when we plan to actually put our quantum computer into practical application. We showed the prototype to President Putin this year. We've already been able to print a living blood vessel. Maybe this is not the kidneys, this is not the brain, this is not the heart, but this is something. This is the first stepping stone. This is from where we will move to printing living body organs. Who will be doing that? That's a big question now. The Rosatom Corporation will need 350,000 new staff members by the end of this decade. We're a big, growing organization. 60,000 of those should be scientists and research engineers, the people who will be integrating these new discoveries and inventions into business, into production. We need 60,000 new scientists by the end of this decade. That's a big challenge. That's a big task. And since our people, our society doesn't like dreaming big anymore, what are the chances that parents will be encouraging their children to go study to technology schools, to go into STEM research, to become scientists? So I think we need our heroes. We need to popularize the scientific profession, and we need some role models. We need some people that we can introduce and present as the role models for success. Proof that you can become a superhero while being a scientist. That a superhero is not Batman or Superman. That it's someone like Ilya Simerikov, winner of last year's year's VYZOV Prize. His name he has become more cited 5 times since last year. In these 12 months, his name has become bigger 5 times. Sometimes he complains that we distract him from the really important work with our gibberish, taking him to press tours and press conferences, etc. But I believe it's also his important mission today to embody a successful science, to serve as the role model for scientific success. Proof that you can dream big. This is Ilya Semyrikov's mission, to learn, to teach people to dream big. And one more reason is that, future is imminent. It's coming. And we already are coming to face the need to adopt, the challenges of adoption of new technologies in society. For example, take AI. Look at the challenges we are facing with its adoption or its acceptance, acknowledgement by society. Imagine once we come close to the possibility of printing body organs. Imagine backlash from some parts of the society, whether it's biblical, whether that's acceptable. We need to be prepared to that. And we need heroes. We need our scientific superheroes who will teach us to dream big. So our main mission as a foundation, as we have formulated it, is we want Russia to be proud of its science, and Artyom will prove to you that we have things to be proud of.
Before Artyom tells us about it, he's the head of the scientific committee. The scientific committee that is there to select the unique winners. And last year he was on it. He was on it this year. Let's look at a video in terms of what the scientific committee is, what it's made up of, how the process was organized before we hand over to Artyom. Could we have the video, please? An award is like wine. Some years are bountiful and some are not. It's creativity, after all. It's not some kind of an established and basically unshakable system. On the contrary, it lives and breathes. This year, it's not only the number of applications that's increased, but also the quality. And among all these applications, there are absolute gems. There are applications that could win absolutely any award on this planet. 594 applications from 34 countries indicate that our award truly attracts great interest from researchers. We got more applications than we expected. I'm surprised by the highest quality of these applications. The application quality this year is much better than last year. It's highly unexpected. And as a matter of fact, it's a very pleasant surprise. It concerns all categories, even the new ones. This year we introduced an international category, and that's important and means the award is going international. This opened up the opportunity for foreign scientists, including very strong scientists, to submit the applications for the award. The international category is fairly illustrative. I didn't expect there to be such a buzz, specifically about the international part. Each nominee is very good in terms of achievements, scientometrics, and all other parameters. Prestigious journals, publications in high-ranking journals, Hirsch Index, H-Index, stuff like that. And after all, that says something. This places even greater responsibility on the scientific committee, because out of the best applications, we have to choose the excellent ones. They dissect it down to the bone, every citation, every discovery, how significant it is, how interesting it is. This award is already widely known in Russia, and it's highly respected. Now the world knows about it too. The new category is undoubtedly very interesting, and I think our colleagues from other countries are following it. It's very important that there is scientific collaboration, especially international. Fundamental science lives this way only. The international category is very significant. As for the scientists from the Russian Federation, as a matter of fact, the number of participating regions has indeed significantly increased. Despite this being only the second application campaign, I must say that the feedback is actually heard everywhere. It means that there's trust in those who choose the winners. This actually means trust in many ways in Russia. Russia still remains one of the leading scientific countries in the world. People want to continue collaborating with Russian scientists and scientific institutions. Thank you. We watched who was in charge of the selection process, and Artem Aganov is going to perhaps draw the line for this selection campaign. It was very interesting to review 594 applications. If I may, I'll present our laureates. I need the slides, please. Could we have the presentation up, please? In the future category given to young scientists aged under 35 years old, the winner is Leonid Verstadt. Leonid Verstadt from the Institute of Organic Chemistry of the Russian Academy of Sciences in Moscow is working on creating multi-purpose materials of all sorts of applications based on molecular high nitrogen architectures. Let me explain what this is. Essentially, these are high energy materials that we're talking about. High energy materials and compounds have been known to humanity for a long time. The first mixture of this is gunpowder, invented by the Chinese approximately 1,000 years ago. For a long time in this area, there were no significant breakthroughs, no progress until the mid-19th century, when there was a breakthrough that occurred with the discovery of the nitrocellulose, which became the basis of fumeless gunpowder that Mendeleev worked a lot of, and nitroglycerin that created the basis for the business of the Nobel family and was the foundation of the Nobel Award itself. Nitroglycerin, it's an important element that played a huge role in the mining industry with tunnel buildings, mine buildings, subway buildings, the planning of cities, etc., etc. Nitroglycerin is also a medicine for the heart. Nitroglycerin, in actual fact, had one significant drawback. Besides being highly energy intensive, it was also very sensitive to friction, which led to the catastrophe where Alfred Nobel's brother died, and this pushed Alfred Nobel to search for a safer alternative, and that's how he created dynamite based on nitroglycerin. The capital that Nobel had accumulated created the foundation for the Nobel Award. Energy intensity balanced against low sensitivity, higher energy intensity, lower sensitivity, and this is something that's still been worked upon, and our laureate today played a significant role in this area. He created a line of materials. He worked on the methods for the production, the technology for their production, combining high energy intensity with low sensitivity, and this is going to play a huge role in aerodynamics. You want to fly to Mars, for instance, and then come back. You need this kind of fuel. For the mining industry, it's priceless. You minimize the risk of technogenic catastrophes practically completely, and in many other areas as well that I'd mentioned already. Moreover, our laureate found some medical applications based on these high nitrogen molecular architectures. The molecules that work with nitrogen oxide, which is separated. Nitrogen oxide regulates the body. Based on this principle, our laureate created various vessel-widening trombolyte applications, and this is how Viagra works, in fact.
Таким образом, наш сегодняшний лауреат
Our laureate today
существенный вклад
significantly contributed
в создание
to creating new energy-intense materials with high security, high safety, and new medical applications as well.
Следующий слайд, будьте добры.
Could we have the next slide up on the board, please?
В номинации «Инженерное решение»
In the engineering solution category, the winner is Sergei Taskayev from the Novosibirsk Institute of Nuclear Physics, named after Butler.
он создал
He created what for many years was considered to be impossible, a compact, high-intensity source of neutrons.
Дело в том, что основным источником нейтронов
The key source of neutrons was the atomic reactor for a long time. It's not compact, it's not portable.
альтернативный ядерный
An alternative to it is the particle accelerator.
в ускорителях
But in a particle accelerator, a particle accelerates forced by electricity or magnetic fields.
и таким образом можно
And this way you can only accelerate a charged particle. And the neutron does not have a charge, so accelerating the neutron wouldn't work.
можно представить себе
You
схему,
can imagine a situation whereby the protons are accelerated and then they hit the target, like lithium atoms, for instance.
ядра лития
The lithium atoms would consume the proton, there would be a reaction,
выделяются нейтроны.
and neutrons would be released.
Но вот беда.
But there's a problem.
Для этого нужно создать
You need to create a compact, high-intensity source of protons, which was considered to be a challenge that can't be resolved. Moreover, you have to create a target containing lithium that would be resistant to a set of protons, and chemically resistant. We know that lithium is highly flammable, highly reactive as an element. This whole source of problems was, for a long time, continued to be unresolvable, but Sergei Taskayev addressed them all. And he created a compact source of neutrons
который помещается,
that can fit into a room,
который можно поместить
that you can fit into any lab, any clinic.
при этом интенсивность
And the intensity of the protons is comparable or even exceeds the intensity that you get in a nuclear reactor.
более того
Moreover, the parameters of these protons can be varied
достигает тех
to achieve the characteristics that are required for each specific application.
какие приложения
What applications are we talking about?
это могут быть
These could be various scientific experiments to research the parameters of nuclear reactions, and these researches are underway. These could be research
повреждения
into
материалов под действием нейтронного
material damages by protons in order to select the most resistant material. This is highly in demand. These could be experiments on the diffraction of neutrons on the crystal grid, which is absolutely necessary to study materials. And finally, these could be colliders on colliding protons.
создание такого источника
A creation of such a source of neutrons is critically important to treat tumors, malignant tumors, through the neutron therapy. For instance, the Bohr therapy. The patient is given
известно, что атомы бора
a
очень
solution containing boron atoms that consume
не поглощают их практически совсем.
cancerous, where the fiber doesn't consume it at all. You're given a drug that contains boron atoms that's able to absorb
Злокачественная опухоль.
the tumor. The tumor absorbs it, and then the patient is exposed to protons. The boron atoms,
Бор, содержащий препарат, происходит ядерная реакция.
there's a reaction that occurs, alpha particles are released, and
Здоровые клетки при
the malignant cell dies, while the healthy cells remain untouched.
Такой принцип бор-нейтронной
This principle of the boron therapy is known for a long time, but for the first time there is an opportunity to perform this kind of treatment
а не на базе ядерного.
That's a basic clinic, not an atomic reactor.
Сейчас разрабатывается нашим лауреатам
Our laureate is currently working on developing a new generation, a new stage in the neutron therapy called the lithium capture therapy.
нерешаемую, как считалось, задачу.
He addressed some of the challenges that were considered to be unresolvable. He made
Самые разнообразные типы
a lot of types of scientific experiments way more accessible,
безопасного
bringing us closer to a future of safe oncology treatment.
Следующая
The
номинация
next nomination,
«Прорыв».
the breakthrough nomination, could we have the next slide up on the board?
Лауреатами стали
The laureates here are Yevgeny Antipov from Moscow State University and Skoltech, and his co-laureate
Артем
Artyom Abakumov from Skoltech.
Эти ученые
These
поставили Россию
scientists
на карту мира
placed Russia on the map of the world in a strategically important area of developing new electrochemical accumulators.
литий-ионных.
Lithium ion, nitron ion, and calcium ion.
Ими были созданы новые материалы.
Rechargeable batteries that they created new materials enriched with nickel oxides
Для литий-ионных аккумуляторов
for lithium rechargeable batteries and natrium vanadium phosphates
рекордными показателями.
with record parameters for rechargeable batteries.
В конструкции аккумулятора
The accumulator construction has three critically important components:
катод,
a cathode, an anode, and an electrolyte
перемещение носителей заряда.
where the charge is moved. All of the three components are critically important, but the most critically important one is the cathode.
Именно он
The
отвечает
cathode is the one that's responsible for the most important characteristic of an accumulator rechargeable battery. The cathode material for the natride accumulators created by Abakumov and Antipov are record
по всем своим характеристикам.
in terms of all of their characteristics at the current stage of international science development.
Эти исследователи
These researchers not only created new materials, they also created a method for their production. They worked through the processing, the creation of these cells, accumulator cells, and they created a production line based on Skaltech. I brought you some examples that were assembled at their plant.
их производство сейчас довольно маломасштабно.
Their production is currently very small scale, but we're hoping that this award will lead to the scaling of this production and will satisfy the need that's there in the Russian market.
Следующая номинация
The next nomination. Please, could we have the next slide up?
международная номинация.
The international nomination, the discovery
Сказать, что
category. I have to say that when we announced this nomination
в начале этого
at the
года
beginning of this year,
больше всего боялись.
we were really afraid.
Мы очень боялись,
To put it forward, we were really afraid that because of the geopolitical situation, we're not going to have enough applications come in.
кого же было наше удивление.
To our great surprise,
Получили
we received 112 applications from over 30 countries around the globe. A lot of applications came from the US, from Germany, from Italy, Austria, France,
Южной Америки,
South America,
Индии
India, China,
и так далее.
etc.
Наш сегодняшний лауреат
Today's laureate is a great researcher, Nikos Lagatetis,
в Китае.
who's been working in China, in Shanghai.
Он создал один
He
из
created one of the main methods to
человеческих.
study the human brain or the animal brain.
Мозг — это
The
самый
brain
главный
is
орган,
the main organ for a human being, but
является
the brain
черным ящиком.
is a black box.
Вы можете, конечно, заглянуть
Of course, you
в черный
can
ящик,
take a sneak peek into the black box by opening it up,
но это
but
драматическая
that's a dramatic surgery.
операция. Туда электроды,
You can implant electrodes, you can dissect it, but can you really study the human brain without being invasive, without penetrating it? Can you figure out which parts of the brain are responsible for different functions?
Между этими отделами
How these compartments transmit information?
работа нашего сегодняшнего
The work of today's laureate is based on this. He is one of the founders of a key method of non-invasive brain research, the functional MRI,
функциональной магнитно-резонансной.
the functional magnetic resonance tomography.
Было обнаружено, что те отделы мозга, которые работают,
The compartments of the brain that work at a given time absorb the biggest amount of oxygen.
стремляются
The oxygenized molecules of hemoglobin go there.
оксигенация
Oxygenation, the intensification of a cell with oxygen, of the hemoglobin oxygen, changes the electrode
гемоглобина и меняет
structure and the local magnetic field, and that's exactly what can be identified by MRI.
метод функционального МРТ
The functional MRI method helps us get a detailed 3D map of oxygen distribution in a human brain, a detailed 3D map of the activity of oxygen,
активности мозга.
the activity of the brain.
Какой отдел
Depending on which compartment of the brain works at a given moment, you will see a different picture of brain activity. That's a way to study the way a healthy brain operates. That's a way to study what exactly went wrong in an injured brain. We can figure out the nature of brain diseases and the ways for treating them.
лечения болезней мозга. Можно понять, как мозг
In this way, you can also understand how our brain processes sensory information. For example, what we see. We received a lot of important results. Our winner received a lot of exciting and important results using that method. Probably a combination of this method and other non-invasive methods, such as EG, it will be able to produce new breakthroughs in the years to come. A functional MRT gives you greater spatial resolution down to individual neurons. It enables you to see that. So that is the winner. We have in our international discovery category, and the method developed by Professor Logothetis is now employed in all the leading research and medical centers around the world. It is one of the most commonly used and widespread methods, acclaimed methods around the world. Finally, our fifth category, Scientist of the Year. The winner this year is Valery Tuchin of the Saratov State University. Valery Tuchin was one of the founders of biophotonics, a new section in science, a science between the interaction between living tissue and radiation, trihertz, infrared, ultraviolet, etc. He is author of a number of research papers, but I'd like to give you one. That is the method for optical lightening the tissue. That is the method that our winner invented. Why is it so important? Visualization is important when we assess visual data about human health. It is important to, they say it's more helpful to see once than to be told about it 100 times. But the human body is not transparent, so you can't see the insides, the organs inside. So how do you assess them? Professor Tuchin has come up with a solution. Our tissues are not transparent for a certain reason. They're made up of component materials such as cellular membranes, and the environment between around the cells. Each of them is transparent, but they have different diffraction levels. So the light going through them, it has different degrees of diffraction, so it gets dispersed. So instead of getting coherent visual information, when we look at it, all we see is dispersed light. Imagine a pile of sand. You know, each sand speck is transparent in itself. But there is air between those sand specks, which is also transparent, but the collection of them is not transparent because light is reflected from the surface of the sand specks and by the air, so it's dispersed. Our winner has come up with a new method. When you inject a certain solution that makes tissue transparent for the locally for the time being, and then you can study them either using scientific optics or even with your naked eye. This method helps you do diagnostics, looking at tissue, studying the tissue, studying blood circulation, looking at tumors that may be building up, the dissolution of pharmaceuticals, how they are dispersed across your system, across your body when you take them. This method is now being applied around the world. There are new variations of it being developed and applied. They're being used for both diagnostics and for therapy, for treatment. So this is what this year's winner of the Best Scientist Award has come up with. This is our winner this year. I think you will agree that the people, the personalities I introduced today are big scientists. They are the trailblazers, the pioneers who today, as we speak, they lay the foundation of scientific research of tomorrow. And as we were looking for winners, selecting our winners this year, we came to love this year's picks. We came to be enamored with them as people, and I hope you will too. Thank you very much. We can see that those people are great scientists, but even great scientists are still people. And hopefully in this video that we're about to see, we will see proof of that. Dear Sergey, I'm glad to inform you that you've been selected as the winner of the 2024 VYZOV Prize in the Engineering Solution category. Congrats. Dear Evgeny, I'm delighted to tell you that you've been chosen as the winner of the VYZOV Prize in the Breakthrough category. Please accept my sincere congratulations. That makes me very happy. Dear Leonid, I'm pleased to inform you that you've been selected as the winner of the 2024 VYZOV Prize in the Future category. That is a bit of a surprise.
Dear Nicholas, it gives me great pleasure to tell you on behalf of the scientific committee, you have been chosen as the laureate of the VYZOV Prize in the category Discovery.
Wonderful! This is a true gift.
Дорогой Валерий Викторович, от лица научного комитета...
Dear Valery, on behalf of the VYZOV Prize Scientific Committee, I'm pleased to tell you that you've been selected as the winner of the 2024 VYZOV Prize as Scientist of the Year. That is fantastic. Thank you so much. For more than 10 years, I've been working with scientists, and I'm still surprised whenever I see the kind of emotions that they can have, they can experience, them being some of the most rational people in the world. And of course, we will see that firsthand during the award ceremony on December the 19th. We will see that up close, as Konstantin Bogomolov promises us. Thanks to you all. Thank you very much. We still have some time so we can take a couple of questions from the audience. Please introduce yourselves and tell us who your question is directed toward. Sergey Gornov, Dialogue Media Center. This is a very important award. This is a very important topic, a very important subject. It's an important track, attracting, highlighting science in society, and drawing the attention of younger people towards science. I would like to offer one more issue, one more challenge for research for years to come. Cleaning up snow in city streets. But now, as to the question, have you expanded your scope as regards the regions of Russia? Your reach as far as the Russian Federation and its constituent regions go. We received applications this year from 58 regions of the Russian Federation, so that is most of Russia's constituent regions. Our geography this year is even more diverse than last year. Even if we leave aside our new international category, Discovery, still, compared to last year, you saw a bit of a imbalance in that Russia's scientific capitals, major scientific cities in Russia, Moscow, St. Petersburg, Novosibirsk, they clearly had fielded more winners compared to other cities of the country. We are seeing something different, a different picture this year. We received applications from Nizhny Novgorod, from Krasnoyarsk, from a handful of cities across Siberia. The only region we didn't get applications from is the Kyrgyzstan Autonomous Region. Where else? We received applications from all major federal regions, from all the federal regions of Russia. It's hard to really think of a region that is not featured in this year's applications. So basically, it's most of them. So indeed, this award has truly become a national award in Russia. Good afternoon. I'm a Chinese student. I'm now an intern with the Chinese Central Television. My question is for Mr. Ruslan Yunusov. How do you think this award will help strengthen the friendship between the younger people in different countries? Thank you very much for this question. I believe there are many aspects. We discussed today how the Rosatom Corporation has been helped by our awards, helping people, encouraging people to dream big. When younger people, when children and the youth, when they dream of receiving a scientific award, that is great. And also, our young scientists, they don't just sit in their offices and labs. They tour, they do touring, they travel around the world, and they serve as the living example, that you can have a very exciting and meaningful life as a scientist. And Mr. Ilya Semerikov, he's right now in China together with his colleagues working, developing a new generation of quantum computers. He's coming back in a few weeks. So this is one example. There's greater mobility for scientists these days. Also, we received more than almost 600 applications, and even the applicants, the scientists who didn't get awarded this year, they still continue to cooperate with us. They are willing, and so this award helps to promote cooperation between scientists around the world, and hopefully in the years to come, next year we'll see even more of that, even greater cooperation. We're heading that way. I'd like to add something. Unfortunately, the geopolitical calamities that we are seeing around the world, they are contributing to the politicization of science. Science is getting politicized. You can hear people openly say that science cannot and should not be outside politics. For us, that's not the case. We still believe that science should not be politicized, and the scientific committee of the awards of this award of the VYZOV Prize, we are open to collaboration in communication with scientists from all over the world, any country, be that the United States or Israel or Palestine, Africa, any continent around the world. The future belongs to people who build bridges, not to those who burn them down. Good afternoon, RBC Network. I have a question for Mr. Dmitry Zawers. So this year you introduced a new category, the international category titled Discovery. Can you tell us about the prospects that it opens up? Well, I believe my colleagues have introduced it enough. I will probably add by saying that not only do we demonstrate our openness by introducing this new category, but also it is reciprocal. We are seeing by the number of applications and the scope of application that the world is also open vis-a-vis ourselves. The world is willing to participate. The world has been sending in their applications. Speaking of practical implications, of course, leading technologies have always been created through open ecosystems where you can openly and freely share knowledge. And it's great to see that this award is becoming a tool for this kind of scientific exchange and scientific collaboration. We are opening the borders. This year, the scientific committee of the VYZOV Prize received 112 applications from 33 countries. So, we're seeing that once again, collaborating with Russian science is seen as something prestigious, something sought after, as it was back in the day. Good afternoon, Izvestia News Holding. This year you will be also awarding the Future the Future VYZOV Award for promising new scientists, promising young scientists. Also, you discussed ways of supporting and promoting younger scientists. Can you tell us about some of the practical measures that you plan for that? Indeed, we've actually done quite a few events for fostering and building communication with younger scientists and even with science students, even with high school students. Indeed, as Andrei said, there is a big demand for scientific staff. These days in Russia, we badly need new scientists, technicians, engineers, IT scientists and IT professionals. This year, we started cooperating with Russia's Ministry for Higher Education and Science with regard to initiatives. We did a road show for Siberian universities under the auspices of the VYZOV Prize, featuring some of the winners of last year's award. And I wish you could see the level of interest that we had from both professors, deans, principals, and students in those universities. So one important track is our cooperation with the universities in developing future technologies. We would like to get universities involved. They must be parts of a bigger picture, for developing large-scale, important future technologies. And hopefully, in 2026, we will announce a new project for establishing endowments that will invest in technology startups created by universities, and also establishing accelerators that will teach university students business entrepreneurship and business logic, business rationale and administration. So our concept, our idea is to turn universities into these hubs of knowledge that will produce ready-made scientists, ready-made research professionals for the scientific community. Thank you very much. Naukograd magazine. I have a question for Dmitry Oganov. By the way, I would like to tell you that the Karyak Autonomous District is part of the of the Kamchatka region. So maybe applications coming from the Karyak district. Maybe they came to you as those from the Kamchatka region. That probably explains it. Now, your research is absolutely fabulous. Your presentation about it was very impressive. I'll be glad to publish your research in our magazine. Thank you so much. That was ad libitum, largely. We really didn't plan on publishing it anywhere, but if your magazine would like to publish it, I think that would be great. People should be informed about what's going on in science, who are the people who are moving science forward. So please do contact VYZOV Foundation staff, and they will help you source those materials. It's also important that we'll have the award ceremony on December the 19th, where we'll talk about those inventions and discoveries in depth. What you saw today is just a sneak preview. We will be displaying, videos made about each of the winners, which will be more informative, more in depth. So do come over on December the 19th. Valery Karavayev, Media Times news agency. It's a question to anybody who would like to take it on. Your new international category, Discovery, it stands to reason. It's very logical, But were there any other options in your deliberations prior to that? Is there any hope that you'll be getting more nominations in the future? Maybe some of those that you did not decide to introduce this year. Also, Konstantin Bogomolov, he's a prominent director, and he's been directing not only theatrical performance and film productions, but also award ceremonies for quite a long time. He has a lot of experience there. But their formats are somewhat different, and so maybe it requested a different approach. So my question is to Mr. Bogomolov: did you have to assemble a new team to prepare for the VYZOV Prize award ceremony? Did you have to get new talents to address this new kind of challenge, new format, or did you manage it with the existing team that you already had?
We'll start with Konstantin. Then a possible discussion. Well, you answered your own question. It's a different award. It's different from a theater award or an award that has to do with some kind of festivity. It's not my first time organizing an award, and including this one that's running for the second time. We're doing it with the same team of people that worked on the award ceremony last year. Talking about my co-authors, Larry Salamak, a wonderful set designer. She's also a designer for a lot of my plays, and she worked on the previous ceremony. She worked on the ceremony this year, just as the team that has to do with the VYZOV Foundation. It's a wonderful team of people that we worked with last year and will continue to work with this year. There's no point to change a well-knit, successful, self-propelling idea team to add something new and replace them with something. There's no point. The question was, did you discuss any other options? Of course, we did discuss other options after the first year. We wanted to go more international. We had various options in terms of how to go about it, but Konstantin was right in pointing out if we have 20 categories, this will sort of distort our focus. 5 looks good for now. We'll see how it goes. We are a living organism. We're looking for new formats. We told you about the winners today in advance, so we'll see what happens next year. We don't know. Although discussions are ongoing. Maybe you wanted to add something to give us a sneak peek into the discussions. Well, no, there's no point in doing that. 5 is a good number.
Может быть, мы посмотрим в сторону того, что
Perhaps
еще какая-то номинация.
we'll add another nomination to help us be even more international. But you know,
Константин правильно
Konstantin was right in saying that if we have 20 categories, this dissolves our focus. We need the very essence of the scientific community. The prize itself, as we said in the video, it's a living organism. Everything keeps changing and evolving year on year. I think we had a good year this year. It was a fruitful year. It was a bountiful one. We had so many applications of so many different high quality levels, and it's a great accomplishment.
Поэтому я думаю, что пока, наверное, цифра
I think for now 5 is a good number. I think it's something we're going to stick to. Okay, since we're not going to reveal any secrets, I suggest we move on to the next one that we can reveal you a little bit about. I think one of the features of the VYZOV Foundation is not just science, it's science plus culture, this coexistence, this mutual engagement. I think the gold age of the 19th century is when researchers were part of culture and there was no separation. I think we look up to them as an example in a lot of the events throughout the year when we're trying to combine research, science and culture. They work very well. And today, it's not randomly that we've found ourselves not at the Russian Academy of Sciences, but instead at the Tretyakov Gallery. I think we are trying to find this essence of culture. The Tretyakov Gallery is the essence of culture in Russia. So, thank you to the Tretyakov Gallery for welcoming us, for hosting us. It's a great honor for us. And since we've been hosted at the Tretyakov Gallery, we have to show you something that's art-related. And I would ask Pyotr Baranov to present our secret, our surprise, what's hiding behind the curtain. I'm really happy that Konstantin Bogomolov invited me last year to participate, and Leonid supported him. The Manege, for me, is a place where a lot of artists developed, and it was a place that was a very Soviet space, and we had many more exhibitions that helped us grow and evolve. And when it told us that the VYZOV, as the state prize and now the international prize, quite literally is going to be hosted at the Manege, it was something I was genuinely excited about. And we have a Greek scientist one more time, and I don't think it's random as well. This is something that you should have talked about. There's some kind of connection with the Greek art, medicine, science at large. I was looking to go to college to major in physics at some point in my life. So I had a chance to participate in this community as well, and this is something that we want to scale. We have scale. We have several objects, several arches that enlarge with the discoveries that are made by the VYZOV Foundation and Prize. Ruslan asked me why not we didn't present Pyotr Baranov. We said this is the sculptor and the author of what's hiding. That would kind of kill all of the buzz. Pyotr Baranov is the author of the sculpture. He created this wonderful work of art. This work of art is going to be the prize in the new Discovery nomination, the International Scientist of the Year. Colleagues, thank you so much. I'm sure this was interesting. I'm sure there are more questions left. You can ask them later. You can talk to our speakers. They are going to be networking. Thank you so much to our speakers.